You are sitting in a room full of people who love you, and yet you have never felt more alone. You're smiling, you're nodding, you're saying the right things, but inside there is a frantic technician behind a control panel, pulling levers, checking dials, and making sure the version of you they see remains acceptable. This is the paradox of your life. You have spent years building a masterpiece of a persona, a self that is capable, kind, and resilient. But the more perfect the masterpiece becomes, the more the person living inside it starts to starve. Why is it that the more you improve, the more empty you feel? Why does every self-help book, every habit tracker, and every New Year, New Me cycle leave you feeling like a high-end software update running on a broken motherboard? I want to ask you something, and I want you to be very honest with yourself. Who are you when you aren't being useful? If you stopped solving everyone's problems, if you stopped being the reliable one, the funny one, or the successful one, who is left? Most people think self-transformation is about adding things, better habits, more money, a sharper mind. But true transformation, the kind that actually stops the 3 a.m. ache, is not an act of addition. It is an act of violent subtraction. It is the process of burning down the house you built to survive, so you can finally stand on the ground where you were meant to grow. In the next 40 minutes, we aren't going to talk about productivity hacks. We're going to talk about the psychological architecture of your cage. We're going to look at why you're terrified of your own potential, why you keep choosing people who make you feel small, and ultimately, how to kill the you that was never real to begin with. By the end of this, the person you were when you clicked this video will no longer exist. The question is, are you ready to let them go?
To change your life, you have to understand that your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to keep you alive. And to your brain, alive means predictable. In psychology, there is a concept called the default mode network, DMN. Think of it as your brain's autopilot. It's the narrator in your head that tells you who you are, what you're capable of, and what people think of you. For most of us, this narrator is a liar, but it's a liar that's been on the payroll for 20 years. When you were a child, you were a sponge for survival data. You learned very quickly which parts of you were good, got you attention or love, and which parts were bad, got you rejected or shamed. If you were loud and your parents were stressed, you learned that quiet equals safe. If you were vulnerable and your peers laughed, you learned that stoic equals safe. You didn't transform into an adult, you adapted into one. This brings us to neuroplasticity. Your brain is like a forest. Every time you think a thought or react to a trigger, you walk a path through the trees. Over time, those paths become paved highways. This is why you can read 100 books on confidence and still feel like a fraud. Your conscious mind wants the highway to go north, but your nervous system has already built a 10-lane interstate heading south. Here is the reframe you didn't see coming. You are not self-sabotaging. There is no such thing as self-sabotage. There is only self-protection. That procrastination you hate, that's your nervous system protecting you from the possibility of being judged if you fail. That people-pleasing, that's your lizard brain ensuring you aren't kicked out of the tribe. You aren't broken. You are a finely tuned survival machine that is still fighting a war that ended 15 years ago. You are a soldier in a garden, holding a rifle, wondering why the flowers won't grow.
Usually, when we hear shadow, we think of our dark side, our anger, our lust, our greed. But there is a far more tragic concept, the golden shadow. The golden shadow consists of all the magnificent parts of yourself that you were forced to hide because they were too much for the people around you. Your creativity, your intensity, your deep capacity for joy, your power. You traded your gold for copper because copper was what your environment could afford. The hidden cost of your transformation up until now has been dissociation. You have become a spectator in your own life. You watch yourself go through the motions. You watch yourself date people you don't even like. You watch yourself work a job that drains your soul. And the most terrifying part, you've become good at it. You are fine. Fine is the most dangerous word in the English language. Fine is the anesthesia that keeps you from feeling the surgery of your own life. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You feel it in your chest when the room goes quiet. It's that low-level hum of anxiety that tells you that if you stayed still for just 5 minutes, without a phone, without a podcast, without a distraction, you might actually hear what your soul is screaming at you. You are mourning the person you were supposed to be. And the hardest truth of all, no one is coming to save you. No partner will heal that hole. No promotion will fill that void. You are the only one who can walk back into the basement of your psyche and reclaim the gold you left behind. But to do that, you have to be willing to be too much. You have to be willing to be difficult. You have to be willing to be wrong in the eyes of people who only liked you because you were convenient.
Let's talk about who you became, because transformation requires a brutal inventory of the present. Do any of these feel like a punch to the gut? 1. The high-functioning ghost. You are incredibly productive. You hit every deadline. You are the rock. But you feel absolutely nothing. You have outsourced your identity to your to-do list. If you didn't have a task, you wouldn't know who you are. 2. The apologetic space taker. You apologize for things you didn't do. You apologize for having needs. You move through the world trying to leave the smallest footprint possible, as if your very existence is an inconvenience you're trying to make up for. 3. The hyper-independent fortress. I don't need help. I've got it. You've turned your inability to trust others into a badge of honor, but it's not strength. It's a trauma response. You're not strong, you're just terrified of being disappointed again. 4. The eternal student. You are always one course away, one book away, one certification away from starting your life. You use learning as a way to avoid doing. You are a library of potential that is rotting on the shelf. 5. The emotional chameleon. You walk into a room and unconsciously scan the vibrations. Within 30 seconds, you have shifted your tone, your vocabulary, and your opinions to match the person across from you. You are a masterpiece of reflection, but you have no color of your own. 6. The fixer of broken things. You are attracted to people who need saving. Why? Because as long as you are focused on their chaos, you don't have to look at your own. You choose partners who are projects, so you're never a partner. You became these things to survive. You needed to be the ghost, the fortress, or the chameleon to get through your childhood, your first heartbreak, or your toxic workplace. But the survival gear of your past has become the straitjacket of your present. You are still wearing a heavy winter coat in the middle of summer, wondering why you're sweating. It's time to take it off.
So, how do you actually transform? It's not a montage, it's not a single aha moment. It is a slow, often boring, and occasionally painful process of radical witnessing. Step 1. Somatic tracking. The body doesn't lie. Your mind can rationalize a bad relationship or a soul-crushing job. Your body cannot. Start paying attention to your no. When you say yes to someone but your stomach tightens, that's your truth. When you walk into your office and your shoulders hit your ears, that's your truth. Transformation begins when you stop negotiating with your body and start listening to it. Step 2. The sacred no. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are gates to keep you in. You have to be willing to be the villain in someone else's story to be the hero in your own. The moment you start setting boundaries, the people who benefited from you having none will react poorly. Let them. Their disappointment is the price of your freedom. Step 3. Inner child integration. This sounds like woo-woo psychology until you realize that your 8-year-old self is the one making your financial decisions and choosing your romantic partners. That child is still trying to get the validation they never got. You have to become the parent you needed. You have to tell that part of you, you don't have to perform anymore. You are safe now. I'm in charge. Step 4. The void. This is the part they don't tell you in the glow-up videos. Between the old you and the new you, there is a period of absolute nothingness. It's called the liminal space. It's lonely. Your old friends might fall away. Your old hobbies might feel stupid. Do not rush to fill the void. The void is where the real you is finally allowed to breathe. To reach your highest potential, you must be willing to acknowledge your deepest pains. Transformation isn't about becoming a better version of yourself. It's about becoming the original version of yourself, the one that existed before the world told you who you were supposed to be. You have been running for a long time. You've been running from the fear that you aren't enough or the fear that you are too much. You've been building a life that looks good from the outside while you freeze to death on the inside. But look at your hands. Look at where you are. You are still here. The you that survived all that adaptation, all that masking, all that hiding, that person is still in there. They are tired. They are exhausted from carrying the weight of a persona that doesn't fit. You don't need more self-improvement. You need self-permission. Permission to be flawed. Permission to be quiet. Permission to start over. Permission to disappoint people who only love the mask you wear. The transformation you are looking for is already happening. It started the moment you admitted to yourself that you can't keep living like this. The fire is already burning. You just have to stop trying to put it out. Walk into the flames. Let the survival self burn. I promise you, what is left, the raw, unpolished, honest truth of who you are, is more than enough. It is, in fact, the only thing that ever mattered. Send this to someone who feels this but can't explain it. They need to know they aren't alone in the dark, and neither are you.